It's been a month, hasn't it? And I am back with this month's episode of Curry Connect. This August, I speak to Eti Bhasin, who is the owner of Dhaba Lane and Old Castello, two restaurants in Dubai in the neighborhoods of Bardubai and Jumeirah, respectively. She talks about serving delicious, amazing food in a great presentation style, about owning a family business and the kind of stereotypes she tries to debunk on an everyday basis, as well as talks to me about what it means to own a business in COVID 19. Check out the interview for your daily source of energy and also look out for the next one coming. Take care. Okay, great. Eti, thank you so much for joining me today on Curry Connect. I'm so glad to have you here. And I hope we have a fun session today together talking about
Definitely.
your little.
So am I. Looking forward to this. Yes, yes.
So good to have connected with you, and I'm so glad you're doing this. And I've been to Dhaba Lane as well, and I must say that it's a great place. It's got a good vibe to it.
Yeah,
I like the
yeah.
entire color and the whole feel of the place. And I want to
Mm.
know, how did you actually come up with it? What was your idea behind it, and how did the entire concept start? I mean, you told me that there's also Old Castello.
Yeah.
So tell me about both, basically. How did you dive into it, and what was it all about?
All right. So coming up to Dhaba Lane at first because that's the ground, the basic training ground that I got early on. So I think somewhere in 2017, after I graduated from BITS, I have done chemical engineering. So after I graduated from there, my father wanted to actually close down
Huh.
Khan Dhaba, which it was called Khan Dhaba earlier. Yeah, so he was like, you know what, chal nahi raha kuch bhi, dekhte hain kaise jata and all. And I was like, Dad, I want to see, मुझे try करना है. So we had the 6 months का lease contract ना, जब rental खत्म हो रहा होता है. So we had 6 months. So he's like, okay, you have 6 months. क्या कर लेंगे जाके try कर लो बेटा, go and see how you feel about it. And I just felt very much connected at home when I was out there, for the first time. Actually, I've never felt that before, ever before, but this happened when I was in and out there, like going out there daily, looking after the daily course and everything. And I felt this place has that potential which it hasn't achieved yet. That's what I felt, because Khan Daba was running for good 2.5 years already. So we already had seen so many ups and downs, and we were just waiting for that moment when it would like just click with the people. Now, one thing that I realized over time, that something that was missing is a unique selling point or a unique selling product. We were serving the same product or the same dal makhani or the same butter chicken which other restaurants in and around us were serving. So what was missing was a concept in mind, that what kind of concept we can get. And most importantly, we didn't have a team in place. So I remember we connected with Mr. Naveen. He's the general manager of both these outlets, and he has worked for outlets like Masala Library, Trisand, Jodhpur. And when he came over, he loved the ambience. So at that time also we still had that truck, that truck where you have a counter. We had these brick crimson walls and all of that. So that gives you a good feel. He's like, sir, I have a concept in mind and I have a team in place. So why don't you just try out? He's like, my daughter's interested in it, so you work with her. And I think in 3 months, we just changed the entire game plan completely. We had a team in place. We had a concept in mind where we want to bring people back to those highway kind of eateries, the roadside eateries you see in the northern part of India, more or less likely you get to see it out there. We wanted to give them that kind of a feel. So I think today also, whenever I meet any customer, at least out of 10 customers today, at least 7 of them know Dhaba Lane, whoever I tend to meet. And they always say that it gives us back those feelings ki hum wapas apne ghar chale gaye, a home away from home, like kind of an experience that they have. So I think Dhaba Lane is known for that. It's the kind of brand that it has become today is to showcase to the people that it is going to serve as a memory back to, having that same,
I will.
kulchas, having those same dal makhan marke. We have those very funky names also that we've come up with on our recipes, and we serve it in a beautiful way. So I think presentation is also one of our USPs,
Yeah.
in all honesty. So that is Dhaba Lane. When it comes to Old Castello, now we had looked into this about 2 years back. About 2 years back, when we were entered, I remember when we entered Old Castello, we got this really good and positive vibe. Old Castello has had a heritage of about 13 years, in that market, and it wasn't doing so well. It's a shisha cafe. But
Okay.
one thing that we thought that we could bring in that area was good food. That was the only thing that was missing. And since we know that food was something that we had started to work upon, I think only after 6 months of having Dhaba Lane, that's when we thought we should take Old Castello on board. Now it's been 2 years with Old Castello. Castello, definitely we have got a good customer base, a good clientele who's coming in, some highly affluential people who are coming in. We had the sheikhs of Ras Al Khaimah who have come in here. We've had, and Jumeirah is that kind of a locality. It is a kind of a locality where you have a good local crowd also who comes in. So we are not only serving Indian, we're also serving Mediterranean, Arabic cuisine. So this is our main forte, apart from just shishas. But now after this pandemic, things have just, gone upside down, So then what we started off with is something that I think I have to start from now, ground zero. So that's how it is. But I think, yeah, hopefully things will pick up soon with Castello.
But how did you deal as an owner? How did you deal with the entire pressure and the entire challenge of not knowing and so much of uncertainty about the business?
It was plentiful. You should always start with yourself, they always say.
Yeah.
Whenever you have to give an encouragement or a kind of support, you should start with your own. So I think as owners, as I think my father is my mentor. He's always been a great support to me. And it's not only from a financial standpoint, it's always from an inspirational standpoint. I look at him as my inspiration. He's clearly the person because of which I always believe that there's always going to be a great start. Wherever you feel that there's an end, there's always going to be a great start from there onwards. Our servers were nothing less than those frontline heroes.
Yeah,
Just standing there day in day out.
can't be. Tell me, you've joined the family business, and there's this common stereotype that people often have that, oh,
Yeah.
Bhagi, like, okay, theek hai, you to had something set, and it was but natural that you had a base and all. What would you say to these kind of people? What has it taught you? How is it? I also want to know that how has your relationship with, say, family evolved, and how do you manage that dynamic? Because it's very.
That's a great question. When I even saw this question, it's a great question, because in all honesty, I always face this on a daily basis. It's like, okay, getting into the family business would have been very easy, not much of a struggle, not much of a thing. And I time and again tell them one thing, it's a constant pressure. It's a constant pressure. Why? At first, you need to be interlinked with your own staff members. You need to tell them that you are a team player like them. You're not the owner. When I get in there, I am not just the owner, I'm a team player. It's like you have to head there, you have to give them that kind of a sense of, okay, it's not the ownership which has come over here, but it's also a team member who has come in, who's come over here to aid us, to help us.
Tell me, why is presentation so important in food? You mentioned, and I noticed at Dhaba Lane as well, that presentation is a key factor. Do you think
Yeah.
it speaks a lot about the way you communicate culture? How do you think it's influential?
I think presentation is key in today's generation in itself. Today we being the millennial generation or the generation after us, the generation Z, so-called generation Z, in these two generations today, we are very photogenic people, or we are photo friendly people. We tend to take
Totally.
pictures of everything, everything around us. Even if I find a small, I see this even with my own nephew, every little thing he sees, he just takes his iPad and starts clicking pictures. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's very much there in today's generation. It's a very in thing in today's time, and I think we are trying to follow that trend as well. Now, at first, we are giving our food stuff in like we give our dal in this kuwa, in this well, we call it a kuwe wali dal, So it gives you that feeling, that acha us zamane mein aise hota tha.
Mm.
I'll tell you a very interesting story. Back when I was at Dhaba, I was just managing the operations. So we cater to all age groups, and there was this old dadaji sort, and there was this youngster, they were sitting together. And
Okay.
we had given this bread basket, just we had the naan and rotis and everything. We had given a bread basket, and we give it in this, so I'm sure you would have heard of, एक सज्जा होता है, आप जब छनते हो तो पूरा जब चावल गिरता है तो मिट्टी दूसरी साइड पे गिरती है, चावल इस साइड पे गिरता है.
Yeah.
So that kind of a duster. So that Dadaji told him that this used to be this, हम उस जमाने में ऐसे निकालते थे, जो मिट्टी होती थी हम ऐसे निकालते थे, चावल ऐसे गिरता था. And the son, that grandson was looking confused. He's like, nahi, but this is a very good presentation. So that perception. So we are able to gather so many perceptions of that same food item. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
What are your top three recommendations for somebody who's visiting Dhaba Lane and Old Castello for the first time? What?
Wow. So, yeah, that's quite, I mean, I would say everything if I have to be biased. But I think I'm a huge mutton fan myself. So if anybody is going to Dhaba Lane, I would say a Pudina Seekh Kebab. That is one of my top favorites. And we're giving it definitely in that iron, which tends to remind you of ironing shirts, for one. And for another, it's giving you good, good feel of charcoal feel or a charcoal kind of a, odor to it. So I think that kind of a concept is very rare and unique, which we're serving, and the taste is on a top-notch level. So I love the Pudina Seekh Kebab. That is one. Secondly, I love our dal makhan marke, which we give in our well sort of a concept. So we're giving our dal. It has a very smoky flavor. It reminds me back of home when I was in Delhi, early ages. It reminds me of that. So yeah, that definitely does. That's a huge recommendation list. Also, it's already a popular hit on Zomato, our delivery partner. It's already a huge hit amongst our customers. So anyone who's coming for the first time, that's the first thing that they usually say. And the last would be Tilwali Kulfi. Oh my God, I'm a huge fan of it. We put some rose petals and a caramelized sauce on top of it, to give it that different kind of a taste, So I think that is a must recommendation. Anybody who loves kulfi, they would love it at our place as well. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And what about Old
That's
Castello?
all right. I would say our biryanis. So we have this
Okay.
chef who is dedicated for biryanis,
Okay.
and he makes the special Hyderabadi biryani. If you've ever come, do try a mutton biryani or a veg biryani. उसको veg पुलाव नहीं कहते, उसको veg biryani बुलाते हैं.
I'm
So
vegetarian. Hungry parliament.
yeah, so if you come in any time, you can definitely give that a try, because I think the biryanis have this different kind of aroma. I remember my father, when he tried the first bite he had, he just had tears in his eyes. He's like, it's so good. Secondly, we have so in our new menu, we have come up with some great innovative recipes. We have a beetroot ki kebab, which is something that's a vegetarian dish, and that's quite unique. It's quite crisp on the outside. We have some great sauces which go with it. The beetroot sauce in itself is a signature,
Okay.
that they come up with. So I think that is something very unique and different that I have tried, and I would definitely recommend to the people who are coming in for the first time. So we have this choco tart ball. It's a
Okay.
beautiful kind of we've just recently launched it. So yeah, it's like a chocolate bowl within which you have ice cream and a brownie. For our IPL also, we are planning to come up with this different kind of a choco tart ball. So for each team, that this is very preliminary that I'm telling you now, but for each team, we would want to come up with a different kind of dessert right now, with a different kind of sauces. So if it's Mumbai Indians, it will be a different, a kind of blueberry sauce on top of it.
To all those fellow youngsters, who are suffering with this situation mentally or trying to grapple and come to terms with the kind of uncertainty that's going on, and you yourself are somebody who is, making her way, what would your, I wouldn't say advice, I would say something like, what would you have to say to them as a friend or as somebody who comes from the same group?
In all honesty, I think each of us are going through a really tough time. Just putting it out there to each of them who are going through this tough crisis, just stay on for long.
Yeah.
Don't give up, no matter what, because it's very important to have faith. Faith in if you have a clear goal and a clear direction of where you want to head into, always have faith in it.
Thank
It
you
is.
so
It is.
much. You made my day.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure and an honor.
Same here.
Thank you.
So glad we could do this.